Good afternoon, everybody. Looks like people are finishing joining right now. We got about 2 minutes until we're going to get started. Can everybody hear me okay via the conference line that we're on? You're not muted as of now, so you can either chat it into the window or just simply speak up and let me know if you can hear me. All right, good. We always want to make sure that our sound and screen is being shared correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and get started in just under a minute here. I want to be respectful for everybody's time. This is being recorded and will be sent out to everybody who registered and attended, as well as may have not had the opportunity to attend live. So I certainly appreciate that. We're going to go ahead and get started. So first off, thank you all for taking time out of your day to come and visit with us again for another one of our webinars. The topic today, one I didn't expect a huge turnout for, but we actually have a pretty good turnout and registration list for, is sales and marketing automation. Literally how you can multiply your effectiveness and basically multiply yourself by using simple online tools, many of which are free or very low cost, and using these across all the different areas that we have to focus on in our business in order to be effective. So we're going to kind of dive right into the meat of it, and I'll share the presentation with you. Just one moment. And then we should have it. So everybody should be able to see the screen there now. And then I'm going to go ahead and mute the call just so we don't have any feedback issues. You can certainly chat the questions into the chat window.
You are now unmuted.
Or you can also hold the questions for the end of the presentation itself. So just a quick introduction. My name is Justin Angelson. I am Vice President of Business Development globally for Sticky IT. We are an alliance partner with NPA, and we're doing a series of webinars in order to provide value, information, and actionable items about web marketing, websites, anything to do with marketing your firm online, that you can take back into your business and hopefully apply, just one or two nuggets that you may pick up from these type of presentations and actually use them to drive the needle and increase revenue, get more clients, find better candidates, whatever the case might be and your specific goals might be. So I appreciate that. I wanted to take just a minute and apologize to those of you who were on the LinkedIn Maximization webinar. The verbiage in the, advertisement, if you will, for the webinar itself stated that we would be talking more about reaching the ultra passive or super passive clients using LinkedIn. I don't think I covered it well enough, so I missed the mark on that. I apologize for that. I've got some research that I'm going to send out to everybody and share that I'll pass to Veronica first that specifically looks at LinkedIn and really positioning yourself to grab the attention from these ultra passive candidates. But that will be coming out. So I apologize there, and I appreciate you guys coming with me to join me again, hopefully not taking up too much of your lunch hour and going from there. Again, we're going to talk about sales and marketing automation. Any questions, please chat them or hold them to the end, and we're going to go ahead and dive right in. Everybody can see this screen here that is now larger that says sales and marketing automation, correct?
Yes.
Quick chat. Okay, good, very good. All right. So basically sales and marketing automation. All right, we're going to go ahead and dive into the meat of this thing. So the first thing that we want to talk about is going to be email, right? So this is something that if you're like me, you probably want to find a way that you can spend less time reading and responding to emails, right? It takes up a lot of our time every day. How much time do you actually spend on it? And how much time is spent on emails that are actually critical and are going to move your business forward? So there's a number of different things that we have to contend with as business owners, as executives, and a number of things that we can do in order to, again, make email less of a issue, so to speak. And we're going to get to that. I'm going to talk about solutions in just a moment. But think about that. Social media, okay, this is something that's not going anywhere. And obviously, it's becoming more and more crucial for success with your SEO, your content marketing, branding your company, and engagement efforts with both clients as well as your candidates. But how much time is too much to spend on social media? Now, if you're like me, I say anytime. I'm not a real big fan, except as how I can help my clients and my company leverage it and monetize it to drive business forward. And where do you find that time? You know, as business owners, you have to be almost all things to all people. So your sales, your marketing, your administrative, your accounting, your everything in many cases. So where do you find that time? And then how do you actually figure out what the return on investment actually is? You know, I think that's a really important thing to make sure of, is that you're actually deriving a return on your investment for your social media efforts. And we'll talk about that. Content creation and curation. You know, it takes a lot of time to look around and find really good content to curate. And by curate, I mean you find something that's high quality from a respected source, either an author or someone who publishes online, and that's relevant and of interest and impact to your target market. And then you share that. And it takes even more time to create content yourself. And then what is it that you're going to create? You know, Google says content is king, and that by publishing fresh new content onto your website, onto your blog, you're going to push up your search rankings. You're going to be found quicker. It's only going to benefit you from an SEO perspective. But what do you make? You know, do you create SlideShare decks? Do you do videos? Do you do webinars like this? Do you write articles, press releases, infographics? There's so much different stuff that's out there, but it all takes time to do. And then again, the rub is figuring out what is the right mix and how do you get it done and get it out to your audience. So lead nurturing and follow-up, this is very important. You know, it's almost never that happens where, you know, we get a call in from a client or we call a client and we close the deal right off the bat. You know, right there, you know, they have 35, you know, requisitions that they need you to fill, and it's just one call, one close, and you're done and moving on. So how do you keep front and center with all the potential clients and candidates that you come into contact with? How do you keep track of it all? How do you systematize it, make sure nothing slips through the cracks? And having a good CRM or an ATS system alone is not going to be enough. So this is the fun part, right? Reporting, tracking, analytics, looking into the nuts and bolts, the nitty-gritty, the numbers. For a guy like me, I kind of like numbers, so I don't mind doing this kind of stuff. But again, it's not anything that's directly driving revenue. So how much time does it take to go and log into the Google Analytics, your webmaster tools, Google AdWords if you're doing pay-per-click, your social media profiles to see what's going on there, your sales and pipeline tracking tools, and pull it all together to get a full 360-degree picture of what's going on in your business. Very critical to know this stuff, but it's time-consuming to do so. So how do we truncate that time? How do we reduce the amount of time that we're actually spending on this, but still be able to extract useful information that's going to assist us in making decisions about marketing, about strategic things, about revenue-generating activities so that you can drive the business forward. Okay. So now we're going to take a little bit of a look at statistics. You know, the amount of time the average person spends on email each week, 13 hours, more than a quarter of your work week. So here's some statistics as well. 66% of people read emails 7 days a week and expect a response the same day. Okay, so your clients probably reading email every day. They email on Sunday, they expect a response. 61% continue to check email on vacation. 56% have anxiety if they can't check their email. I know I kind of have that as well. 26%, more than 1 in 4, say they can't go more than 2 to 3 days without checking email, and they check it everywhere that they are. So what do we do about this? How do we reduce the impact that it has from a time as well as an anxiety standpoint and still be effective? So some recommended cures for email overload. So things that you can actually do to manage email more effectively and make your lives easier. Okay, and most of this is going to be free stuff as well. So the first thing I recommend you do is you batch bulk processing of your email into specific kinds of day. For example, I check my email at 12 p.m., at 4 p.m. each day. Okay, so that activity gets just batched and placed into that bucket of time rather than checking and responding to email throughout the course of the day. Might pull you off task from doing something, might pull you off of a phone session where you're doing outreach to find clients, might pull you off and follow up with candidates. But again, batch it into those periods of time and start to control it. Use a custom autoresponder within your email client, whether you use Outlook or Gmail or Thunderbird for Mozilla, whatever the case might be, to start to train your candidates, your clients, and your colleagues on how best to communicate with you. And I'll send out a template for that as well. It goes something like this. I've received your email. It's very important to me. As of right now, I'm checking my email at 12 and 4 p.m. each day. I want to make sure that I have time to be effective. And just something very personal and something that shares with them how you actually do that. And it can actually get to be a very, very effective tool. Now, I'm not saying you can ignore email all the time. There are still going to be emails that require a very fast or immediate response, but it is going to be something that can help you to do that. And then check out an email productivity tool or some kind of plugin. There's a lot of them that are free, a lot of them that are very, very good, and 2 recommendations that I've used that work great are Boomerang. It's a great email management tool available for Gmail, Google Apps, and Outlook. The link there is www.baden.com. It is actually a free tool. And basically, if you think about the concept, it allows you to boomerang emails back into your inbox at a certain period of time. So if you see a couple of emails that you know you don't need to deal with until tomorrow morning, but you don't want to delete them and you don't want to forget about them, you can actually select those emails, hit boomerang, say tomorrow morning, and they'll show back up in your inbox tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. or whatever time you designate. Or it could be 4 days from now, or 2 hours from now, or whatever the case might be. It allows you to completely control your inbox rather, and actually works really, really well. I use this all the time. It's extremely effective, and it's free. It's awesome. Another one that has a good free trial that may work for you. I don't like it as much. It's called SaneBox. And think of it as a personal trainer for your email inbox. And basically what you'll do is you'll download the little tool, install it into your email, and then you'll start training it by telling it which emails are important, which are stuff you can look at later, and it creates different folders. And it calls them Sane Right Now, which is going to be everything that is available. Sorry about that. It looks like we're catching some noise. I muted everybody. Let me make sure it's done.
You are now muted.
Yeah, I don't know why it took a couple times to mute. I apologize for that. Let's check that out. So my apologies there. So again, this one you tell it, it's important right now, okay? It's important later. It's something that is a newsletter, it's a digest, it's a blog notification, this, that. And it creates different folders. And then after you've trained it a little bit and it's analyzed your email history, it'll start to assign them automatically. And it sends you a digest daily and you can make corrections. But over time, it can become a very effective way that you can train your email to show you what's important, what's relevant. And again, automation is not always the key, but this can help reduce the amount of time you spend on email. Because what I do know is that if you're not talking to a potential client, you're not meeting with a potential client, or you're not, getting a candidate ready for an interview, you guys aren't making money. Okay, recruiting is a sales-focused business. So it's important that you get more time to spend with your clients, spend with potential clients and candidates. So that's important. So some social media and marketing statistics. So this is looking at just how important social media and blogging have become. Business-to-business companies that regularly maintain a blog generate on average 67% more leads per month than non-blogging companies. 79% of marketers in the B2B space rate blogs as most effective traffic to driving their top goal, which is lead generation, so finding more potential clients. Both business-to-business and business-to-consumer marketers use on average 6 different social media platforms to distribute content. So 6 of them, 6 logins, 6 passwords, 6 things you have to go into and do every day. How do you eliminate that or make it more effective, more efficient? Among leading companies, 70% rate inbound site traffic from social media to be valuable or very valuable. 72.6% of salespeople using social media outperformed those salespeople not using social media at all. And of the 21.7% of salespeople who said they were not using social media, 18.9% said they didn't see the value, and 45% said they didn't understand it. Now, I show you this just to show you that it's increasing in its adoption. It is very important, but we don't want to get bogged down in it. So we want to find a way to make it work within our time and still allow us to have the majority of our time driving revenue with client-facing type activities. So just a few more stats. Marketers who had 2 years or more experience in social media marketing stated the following is directly attributable to these efforts. Increased exposure for the business, 95% of them. Increased traffic to the website, 81%. Improved sales, 53% of them. So people who have been using social media to market and to sell for 2 years or more than half of them said it improved their sales. More than half of them, 62%, said it actually improved business partnerships. So what kind of strategic partnership might that allow you to strike that could bring you into contact or bring you into exposure with more potential clients or better pools of candidates or whatever the case might be? So a lot of things there. Obviously, increased lead generation is always good as long as they're good leads. They're the Glengarry leads, right? And improved search ranking. So making sure that your brand, your firm, your company improves in the search ranking so people can find you more for your specialization for what you do. So my prescription as your doctor of social media from Sticky IT to get you back to running your business fast as opposed to getting bogged down in it, because we know we need to do it. So do have a plan for your business with social media. Do register all of your business profiles, even if you don't plan on using them right now. So even if you don't care about Instagram, you don't care about Pinterest, or you're not using Google+, register your business so that you have it. Because at some point it may become relevant, and in very, very competitive circumstances, maybe one of your competitors might grab it so that you can't. So do that. Set up ways that you can listen, quote unquote, socially for your brand and your competition online. Be consistent with your social media efforts. Don't go dark for weeks or months on end and expect to stay relevant. If you continue a dialogue and engage prospective clients, your candidates, and you stay committed to that, you stay consistent, they're going to keep listening. But if you go dark, they're going to stop paying attention. And then dedicate time and personnel to social. Actually make it a part of your business plan because it will drive leads, it will drive revenue and client acquisition, or outsource it. So think about that. Don't wing it. Don't share tons of personal info on your business channels. I don't think that your potential clients care. And I'm not saying you guys do this, but I've seen this. They don't care about the steak you got at the restaurant. And unfortunately, most of the time, they're not going to care about what's going on with your kids. But you just don't want to share tons of personal information on the business channels. Don't forget to listen and set up alerts to listen for signals about your company and competition. Anytime there's any kind of comment or issue that's negative or potentially negative, don't fail to respond to it. If you ignore it, it's going to become like an infection. It's going to fester. It's going to grow. So social media can actually help incredibly with any kind of service or client relation type issues that may pop up. And then another thing you don't want to do is have dramatically different branding across your social channels. So if you have a very conservative, very professional website, but you have very crazy colors and really out there artistic things on your social media channels, it can confuse your target market and not allow your message to be heard clearly. It just becomes more noise and less signal. So what I recommend as a solution for managing social media and making it very time effective and still allowing it to play an effective part in your process and your business to drive results are some free tools. Hootsuite probably being the number one tool that I'd recommend. It has a free account that lets you manage multiple profiles and networks, schedule out your posts, and see basic analytics. So, for instance, you could take an hour maybe 2 hours, and plan out every post that you would have on every network for the month, schedule it automatically, and then actually track the notifications. It'll actually email you on what's going on. It'll give you basic analytics. But again, you spend a couple of hours and you have a month's worth of engagement, a month's worth of content that's going out there. Another good one is Buffer. It's bufferapp.com. This free version actually allows to provide suggestions for curated content, for good stuff that's being published out there. You select the topics, and then you can share it automatically on your networks. You can share it from your browser, and it'll let you share anything on the fly, as well as make posts and schedule them automatically. It's a pretty powerful tool. So I'd recommend taking a look at one of those two things, because the free versions are awesome, and they have great capabilities, and they will let you effectively use social media to drive engagement with clients, potential clients, candidates, generate leads, and ultimately add revenue to the books as you take on clients and fill job orders. Again, content. Content is king. You know, that's what Google says. They're not going anywhere. They continue to evolve their algorithm and how this automated tool evaluates content that's online. So having high quality, or creating, finding, and sharing high quality, relevant content online is what's going to determine a company's success with SEO and web marketing in general. Content. So some information about using content to market. Dollar for dollar, content marketing produces 3 times more leads than paid search. And it also costs less too. So almost 41% less than using paid search. Some additional things about business-to-business buyers. So the hiring managers, your HR directors. You know, only 9% consider vendor content as trustworthy. So you have to make sure that the content you're putting out is objective, and you're also finding that good content from trusted authorities to share that's useful to a hiring manager. So you don't want to necessarily talk about your firm and send out, you know, a huge history of your firm, but you may want to send out a white paper or a case study about how outsourced recruiting solution gets employees in the door that are retained for a longer period of time, or a better fit for a company culture. Again, you guys know how effective you are at what you do. You guys know how necessary it is to find high quality people using your solution, right? So small and mid-sized companies rank as the most effective content to put out there. Case studies, 69%, in-person events, 67%, blog, 65%, email, 65%, ebook, 64%, video is still big, webinars, articles, research reports, and white papers. You know, these are the most effective ones that people find. So which of these types of content do you use? And again, it's about finding that time. How do you curate it? How do you create it? So here is the recommendation there. Some useful and free or low-cost tools to create and curate high-value content. So when you're creating it, you're looking at things, or curating it rather, look at something like everpost.co. Okay, it's a low-cost option that has a free trial to curate content. It's based on the profile you create and the interest you select. It also allows you to schedule posts and provide suggested timing of posting by network. So it'll tell you when are the optimum times for engagement to post on LinkedIn. It'll tell you when to post on Twitter, Facebook, whatever the case might be. It's really a pretty cool tool. Buffer app, we talked about that. We talked about Hootsuite already. And then Rignite is another social media listening, curation, and distribution tool that functions in many ways similar to the ones they are before. Now the listening function, it'll let you say, you know, XYZ company, my firm, and then basically anytime something is published and indexed by Google about those keywords or those alerts that you set up, it'll actually notify you. So let's say, for instance, someone says, hey, on Facebook, you know, this recruiting company just got me the best job in the world. You're going to get a notification of that. And then you might reach out to that person and say, hey, I'm so glad it worked out well for you. Would you mind actually doing a testimonial for me? You know, type it up into an email and send it up. Then you have something that you can share on your social networks. And again, that type of earned media, that recommendation, that testimonial is huge and extremely powerful. Creating content, okay, it's difficult. It takes time, okay. Video is huge though. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. They're free with a Google account to upload, edit, host, stream, and share videos, okay? So you can record 15-minute or 15-second clips, 30-second clips, you know, tips and tricks, how-tos. You know, you can have it client-focused, you can have it candidate-focused. You could record for a candidate a 30-second video that says, here's the top 3 things you need to do to prepare for a job interview, or 10 things never to say in a job interview. And maybe it's 45 seconds, maybe it's a minute, but do it, okay? It's highly consumed. It's highly consumed, and it's considered very, very strong by Google for search engine purposes. So it's considered very strong, okay? Then you have something like Jing. It's a free option to record short videos and upload to YouTube or the hosting service of your choice. Pick the Chart. It's a great creator for infographics. So if you've seen infographics, it's a great way to present data. And again, because we're in this instant gratification type of generation, because we have the ability to get data and get information from all kinds of places instantaneously, people want it fast, right? So they want to look at a video that might be 3 minutes to tell them how to do something. They might want to look at an infographic that presents relevant statistics about something they're interested in very quickly, rather than reading through a report or a white paper. This thing, Pick the Chart, is not easy to use, but it's really high quality. Infogram, basically infogr.am, free to create interactive charts and infographics. Great tool, pretty easy to learn. Prezi, what I built this presentation with, it's different than PowerPoint, allows you to have some cool effects. Again, a little bit of a learning curve here, but it's a real good tool you can use. Haiku and StoryDesk, these are presentation makers for the Apple operating system, for iOS, and they focus on beautiful imagery and storytelling in a business fashion. So just some suggestions of free or low-cost things you can take a look at that can create content that is very high quality and that you can share on your blog, put it onto your website under the news section, have on social media, and by distributing that content on a regular basis, your search engine rankings are going to go up, you're going to be found more, and if someone types in, for instance, if someone is going to type in, James Corby online, and sorry to single you out, James, and then all of a sudden your website comes up, your blog comes up, 2 videos come up, and an infographic comes up. Do you think that that particular hiring manager that's looking at this information all of a sudden say, wow, these guys really have their stuff together? These guys must know exactly what they're doing, so I need to pay attention to what they're saying? I think that's probably the case. So again, just something to consider there. So lead nurturing, lead scoring, and follow-up, figuring out which leads to follow up with, how often to follow up with them, right? If you've been in sales for any amount of time, which you all have been, you don't close a deal on the first call. On average, between 7 to 12 touches, before a potential client is ready to take action. Now, I'm sure some manager, sales manager in the past has told you, build rapport, get them to like you and trust you, and they'll do business with you. It's true, but how do you do this effectively across hundreds or even thousands of leads or potential clients? And the answer to that is automation plus human intervention will equal sales. That's the equation, and that's how you actually do this. So lead nurturing, right? Just keeping people in the pipeline, keeping your name front and center. Some stats. Prospects receive an average of 10 touches from the time they enter the top of a sales funnel until they become closed won. 74% of top performing companies out there use some form of automated lead nurturing. Among average or underperforming companies that use marketing automation, 2 out of 3 fail to leverage your platform's lead nurturing capabilities. So what that suggests to me is that a lot of the time you guys are using a pretty robust ATS system, using a good CRM, but you might not know about the capabilities that it has. It might have a really bang-up lead nurturing program inside of it that you just haven't been trained on, you haven't been exposed to, or you don't know about. So, if you're using Bullhorn, take a look at the new S version they came out with. It has some incredible features for lead nurturing. If you're using PC Recruiter, they have some good things. If you're using Cloud or Big Biller, or whatever the case might be, ask them. Ask your sales rep. Ask the rep to show you any other features that you might not be using, because it might already be there. Business-to-business marketers who successfully deploy lead nurturing programs see an average of 20% increase in sales opportunities from leads that they nurture versus those they don't. So if you think about, having 1,000 leads in your database, 1,000 potential clients, if you're not nurturing them and then you start nurturing them, what would you do with 200 new clients out of 1,000? Not saying it'll happen in 3 months, maybe not even in a year, but what would having 200 new clients, new paying clients, do for your business over the span of 12 to 24 months, over 6 months? And then over 50% of the leads in the average B2B contact database are garbage, right? So if that's the case, we need to focus on the ones that have been nurtured, the ones that have been grown, if you will, and spend the time where it's most effective. So, action items and next steps to deploy effective lead nurturing within your business, okay? See what you already have in your current ATS or CRM. You know, any Salesforce variant that you're using and many others have killer lead nurturing systems that just need to be set up and implemented. Start off simply. It seems like a huge undertaking, but start off simply. You guys already have your database, you know, segmented to the clients and candidates. I'm sure it is. Then start with just a 6-email sequence of messages tailored to each. So 6 short emails, quick and to the point, one geared towards talking to clients, one geared towards talking to potential candidates, and then schedule them to go out at specific times and intervals. And then consider free or low-cost lead nurturing or email autoresponder programs. There's a lot of good ones out there. You know, stuff like MailChimp, Aweber, Constant Contact, GetResponse. Stuff like Pardot, Eloqua, and Marketo, HubSpot, super expensive. You know, if you're an organization that can afford to deploy that type of solution, it's awesome. You know, then you're doing millions a year in revenue. That's fantastic. But I'll tell you, they're expensive. Might be very good, but they are expensive. HubSpot, it's fairly expensive as well, but pretty effective. Office Autopilot is another one that is less expensive. It's actually fairly affordable. It has a free trial. And Infusionsoft, all good ways to nurture leads and continue to keep your name, your recruiting firm, top of mind, front and center to all your potential candidates, to your potential clients, more importantly, and to continue to build your credibility, build your exposure, and build your brand up online. Which again, you have to do it because the people that are coming up, your competition, your competitors, the people that are just getting into the business, they're swimming in technology. Okay, they use it every day, all day, and it's changing and it's just evolving so quickly. You need to be on that cutting edge. Okay, if you want to avoid getting lost in all the noise that's out there. Tracking and reporting and analytics, the boring stuff, right? If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. So in order to gauge how effective a marketing campaign is, you need to be able to measure and track the results, especially online. You need to be able to see if it's working or not. You need to be able to see it from 360 degrees to measure against your sales and revenue figures. What is the ROI really at? What tools are you currently using? Are they adding value or taking it away? Is it an investment or expense? On average, how much time does your business spend each month on reporting? What if you could get some of that time back and have better insight into your business? You absolutely can do that. You can take what might be a 2 to 6 to 8 hour process to look at all of the metrics for your business on a monthly basis, condense it down into an hour, and actually go ahead and get that time back for a sales-focused activity or whatever the case might be. So about data and analytics, just some quick stats. Again, this is the dry part. 38% of businesses, only 38%, have a single view, including current and historical data, of how customers interact with their brand and their content across digital touchpoints. Highly effective marketers and salespeople are more likely to measure sales conversion, ROI of content and other online marketing, and the incremental value of clients. So you guys know about the incremental value of clients, right? You know, the client that you sign that continues to use you to fill job orders for years and years. You build a relationship. You do great work for them. They trust you, and they keep giving you that business. It's important. And if you can measure that and show that, that's key too. And then 3 out of 5 companies ranked A/B testing as valuable. So taking a look at 2 different versions of some way that you might be advertising and seeing which one works better. It's all that is. But how do you automate it? What does this all mean? Okay? We all need to be more effective and more cognizant of tracking the key metrics that drive our businesses forward. We need to find ways to do so more effectively, efficiently, and there's some good resources. So Google Analytics, okay, it's free. Okay, every website that we build for our clients is deployed and set up, and we help people configure the analytics and the webmaster tools so that you can get the information you need without slogging through the 45 pages of reports that they offer. So the correct setup and configuration of this will give you deep insights and detailed reporting on what is going online for your business, how people are behaving when they go to your website, what parts are they looking at, what parts are they not looking at, where do they leave at. Okay, these are very important information to have, because if someone leaves, you know, when you're talking about, say, your pricing model, if you have that stuff published, then you know you need to do something different and change it. Okay, if someone is leaving at the About Us very quickly, they're bouncing off your site, you need to change it. Again, it'll allow you to see where on your website works and where it doesn't and make any necessary changes. Webmaster tools, same as above, but it gets even deeper insights when used correctly in conjunction with analytics. It'll actually show you different portions on different websites where hot zones are. It's pretty cool. Dashboards. I love dashboards. Okay, things like Gecko Board, Duxboard, Google Drive and Docs, Clipfolio, Domo. These are all relatively low-cost things that have free trials, and some are super low-cost, and allow you to pipe in your information and see it in one view. Okay, and let me zoom in on this for a minute just so you can get an idea about what I'm talking about. So, this is something I'm going to show you. They're talking about social interactions, visitor to lead ratio. So these people have 171 people come to their website before one person comes into a lead. And then every 5 leads they get, they win a deal. So if you could know information like that very quickly at a glance, do you think it would enable you to make business decisions quicker and more effectively? I would say probably so. Oops. All right, sorry, I jumped back a couple slides. My apologies there because I zoomed in. Sorry about that, folks. We're almost back to where we were. There we go. All right, so some additional thoughts, resources, and use cases, right? What does this all mean? How can we make it work in our business? One thing I would say is never try to automate an imperfect, overly complicated, or faulty process. It's only going to make things worse. The keep it simple, silly is definitely an acronym I always think about. Take a few minutes to think about what kind of repetitive, non-revenue generating tasks you're doing repeatedly, and write down the steps you take to complete the task. If it's something that is linear and something you've perfected, it may be a good candidate for using a tool to automate it. Time how long completing these sales and marketing, but non-revenue creating task takes you, the longer it keeps you from working directly with a potential or current client or candidate, the more likely you'll benefit from automating it or outsourcing it. We can talk about outsourcing another time. So some tools that you can use to automate that have free options that are incredible, that I use every day, that are just fantastic, are Zapier. Zapier.com. Take a look at it. Ping me offline or ask me some questions about it. I'm happy to show you how it works and how I use it. If this, then that. Basically another tool to program without having to be a programmer, how your different tools interact with one another to automate the processes to let you do more with real people. Full Contact. So this is an app. You set up an account, you download it to your iPhone or your Android phone, and what it lets you do, for instance, if you're at a trade show or you meet someone, you get a business card, you take a picture of the business card, it scans it, and it automatically transcribes every piece of information, syncs it into your database. And for instance, how I use it, it then syncs that info with Google Contacts. 15 minutes later, it syncs it with our CRM. Then it sends a request to connect with that person on LinkedIn if I'm not already connected. And after that email after the contact syncs with the CRM, a new lead email goes out automatically introducing our company with more info. And you can do all kinds of things like that. Automatically though, but it looks like there's someone that's spending a lot of time personalizing this process when in fact it's automation. So there's a lot of things that you can do to do that. And of course, phone calls have to happen along the way, individual emails. The point is to remove and automate the repetitive stuff to allow us to focus more on the people that we're working with, okay, to add more value, to deepen that relationship without having to slog through, the grunt work, quote unquote, because you can automate most of it. Now, I can't share all the details of my magic because it's probably a trade secret according to my contract. But again, one-on-one, I'm happy to take you through some of these free tools and get them set up. There's no cost or obligation to you. Part of us being an alliance partner with NPA is for us to continue to deliver value and be a resource for its members. And again, some of you guys may be clients, some of you may not be. We always stand ready to help any way that we can. But again, I'm happy to go through some of this stuff and share with you exactly how it's impacted my life, my business, for the good. And again, there's no cost or obligation for a little more detail about that. So, sales and marketing automation. Multiply your effectiveness with simple and low-cost or free online tools. This is the end of the formal presentation. If there are questions, let's go ahead and take them via the chat window. I do have some time for questions. I appreciate everybody taking the time out of their day. And, I look forward to speaking with you all live at some point or seeing you in an MPA meeting sometime soon. So if there's any questions, please go ahead and type them into the chat window and we'll go over them. With FileMaker, I believe so. I believe so. You'll want to maybe take a look at the website under their FAQ, but I believe Full Contact will work with FileMaker. It'll sync with pretty much anything that you can set up on the back end. So you're going to be receiving an email in the next couple of hours that has a link to this entire presentation, and I can send out the deck. I'll turn this presentation itself into a PDF, or not a PDF, but a PowerPoint, and send it out. Rick, yeah, Domo's super expensive. Just an example of kind of the enterprise level stuff. Clipfolio, it's very inexpensive. You know, they have a 30-day free trial, and I think they have plans, you know, from I think even 10 to 30 bucks a month. It's really a good tool. Clipfolio is cool. Here, there's another one. I'm going to go ahead and write this in here. Another analytics tool. EasyInsight.com. This is something that really has some unbelievable power. They give you a 30-day trial, and then it's 50 bucks a month, and it gives you a dashboard that looks at everything. I mean, it tells me about you know, my sales reps' effectiveness. It tells me about what's going on with leads, revenue, and it has a million on-demand reports that are already programmed, plus you can customize it relatively easily. So that's something you may want to consider as an analytics tool as well. It's just something I started using recently after I'd actually created this deck, which is why it's not mentioned in there, but you may find it very useful. And I'm happy to show it to you as well, you know, offline. You know, we can take a look at it. I think you'd be pretty impressed. I know I'm excited. I like this stuff though, so I mean, I love looking at this stuff. So I'm always trying to find better ways to, you know, be more effective and do my job and do all the rest of that. So. Any other questions fielded kind of in a group setting here? I mean, feel free to send me an email. It's justin@stickyyit.com, STICKYIT.com. If you have kind of an individual question or you'd like to kind of follow up offline, happy to do so. I would like to ask for a favor. Please, in the chat box, would each of you just chat a topic or, you know, a couple of topics that you would like to know more about as it pertains to websites, web marketing, digital tools, anything that you can think of that you would find value in having us do kind of an in-depth presentation like this. Please just take a minute to chat it in there so I can kind of customize the quote-unquote curriculum to make sure that I deliver the best value and really provide information that's gonna make a difference and be of import to you. So please, if you don't mind, just chat that in the window. All right, Sesmead, for sure. We can definitely put something together on that. Thanks, Herbert. Does anybody have an interest in learning more about SEO, social media optimization, prospecting, lead generation? Okay. Well, if there are no other questions in the group setting here, I'm going to go ahead and get things wrapped up. I want to thank each and every one of you for taking time out of your day to join this webinar and to review this presentation. I sincerely hope you found some value in it. You can take, you know, one or two nuggets that you've seen in it and actually apply it in the business and things like that. Okay, we got a couple questions that came through. So, all right, lead generation within a specific industry, tracking job postings, stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely. We got a lot of good information on lead generation. I could really put together a nice presentation. Tracking the job postings, yeah. Not getting spammed, yeah, absolutely. How to reach out to people and not have this considered spam, for sure. So we could talk about lead generation, email marketing, anti-spam email marketing could be a good tool. very good presentation. So yeah, absolutely. That's a great question, Veronica. Is everybody using a blog to build their email list? If you don't have a blog right now, you need to have one. Again, that statistic was pretty telling. You know, the marketers for effective companies are saying the blog is one of the #1 things they do to build their list and to get leads, to get high quality leads. And one of the things I want to speak to that just real briefly before we wrap. A lot of people think that having a blog and maintaining it is a ton of work. Even just blogging once or twice a month, 300 to 500 words, will get you 60 to 70% more leads than those who do not. And CASL is the Canadian anti-spam law, if everyone wants to know that. So it's kind of like CAN spam, but it's specific to Canada. It says that even with businesses, you have to comply with certain things. Now, our chief marketing officer, actually, she resides in Toronto, and she knows CASL inside and out. So everything that you know we do for our clients and that we do has to be CASL as well as CAN spam compliant. Blogging, yeah, just take a look at a webinar on blogging. Absolutely, I'm happy to do that. So I want to get these ideas because Veronica and I are going to work to kind of build out the next 4 to 6 months worth of these web meetings to make sure we're delivering value. All great suggestions. All great suggestions. So I guess, okay. Yeah, that's a good point. So if you're prospecting in Canada, you still have to comply with CASL laws, even if you're doing it from the U.S. So that's incredibly important. And I mean, they're really cracking down hard on it. From what I've heard and what I've read, they are not playing games with it. So it's important to be able to comply with it. There's definite ways to do so, though. All right. Well, I really appreciate everybody's time. We've gone just under an hour, 47 minutes. This entire presentation, the video, the slides, the audio, everything will be made available and will be emailed out to you automatically. Thank you all so much for your time. Veronica, thank you for facilitating this. Also, if you guys do have, thank you, Maureen. If you guys do have any feedback, good, bad, ugly, please share it with me. You're going to receive an email that says, hey, what did you think? Please share it with me because I do these all the time. I'm always looking to make sure that I'm delivering more value, a better presenter, all the rest of that. So I'm trying to get better at this, and I welcome any constructive criticism at all. So I certainly appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, and have a great weekend coming up here. Thanks. Take care.